Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're showcasing my ultimate Titan Trials build. I'm going to split this video into 3 sections. First, we're going to take a look at my subclass. Next, we're going to take a look at my exotic class item and my mods. Lastly, we're going to take a look at my choice of weapons. If you like this type of content, drop me a like and a comment. Let's go ahead and take a look at my subclass. Alright, welcome to my Prismatic Titan build. Let's go ahead and start from top to bottom. So first of all, we got the Shackle Jolt Grenade. I consider this to be the best ability of the 3 characters. It can actually make some clutch plays, but with the Transcendence topic here, I will tell you that my goal is not to get Transcendence super fast. The goal still remains clear, is to have a good neutral play subclass with fast super energy. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the super of choice, Twilight Arsenal. So Titans don't have bubble in Prismatic Titan. This is going to be the fastest super of all the options, and it's actually pretty good. You pop your super, you send out 3 axes. Normally, I would just focus on hitting the first one and then just use the following axis as a means of like running around with it and throwing another one for an occasional kill or 2. But because the other supers have a very long cooldown, I don't recommend using it. Trials games will probably be over before you ever get one of these supers. As for abilities goes, yes, I am going to be using Thruster. I know most of the time Barricade is going to be the ultimate option when it comes to trials and for team play. Being able to launch that Barricade on a revive to immediately get your teammate back up or just control a part of the map is definitely super important. With that out of the way, Thruster has been an incredible tool for aggressive play and also just escaping potential deaths. Think of it this way, I'm basically using Gambler's Dodge on a Titan. With tier 10 resilience, this cooldown is actually faster than Gambler's Dodge, so I am using it a similar way, and you're going to be seeing some gameplay as I pull off the Thruster. Next, we got the Jump, which I won't spend too much time on, but Strafe Lift is always best unless you're using Scroll Wheel Jump. Then Catapult Lift is definitely something you can run. Next up, we got the popular Behemoth Bolt Shiver Strike melee ability. This is going to be a touchy topic because Blade Fury is very popular with players being able to use it as a dodge. And then on top of that, Shoulder Charge has always been a go-to melee ability for fellow Titans, as you can use it to get to parts of the map faster, use it to disengage from fights, or just simply get a defeat. If we're talking about movement and lethality, there's no better choice than the Shiver Strike in my opinion, especially because the base cooldown is a minute 54. This is such an incredible melee to fill the darkness part of the prismatic bar, and on top of that, it can send people flying. It gets some really good, very fast kills, and I love it to just disengage and get to different parts of the map much faster than a shoulder charge can get me to. Next, for the grenade, we got the Pulse Grenade. This has a large AoE effect. It's really good for countering revives, and I absolutely adore it for that fact, especially if people are sitting around a corner attempting to peek shot with whatever type of weapon. Throwing this Pulse Grenade around the corner is going to secure a good amount of damage, especially with Fastball. I can just chuck this and immediately get some free damage. And for the aspects, it is non-negotiable. Knockout is definitely a go-to aspect here. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attack with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Kills with this will also make us amplified. So the key words here are the melee range and damage. This is perfect for shotgun playstyles. Maybe you don't have any special ammo, you get a couple primary shots, you break the enemy shield. This punch will just knock them out. It's literally in the name. I love this for some easy cleanups, get my health back up. You have to keep in mind this aspect did get nerfed in PvP. It only grants you a small amount of HP on kill now. My last comment on this is that it's just really good to have that extra melee range. It's so nice to just run at people, get that 2-hit melee, or just get the cleanup with it. It's definitely one of the best aspects in the entire game when it comes to PvP. And Titans on Prismatic being able to run this for free, not really needing a melee charge at all, is kind of wild, but powerful. Next up is a slept on aspect that a lot of people are going to need some practice on. It's pretty much new for most players as Diamond Lance has been ignored since it came out pretty much. Whenever you get a kill with an ability, you make a Stasis Lance. This got a huge rework pretty much. The Diamond Lances behave more like tangos now when you interact with them. It feels much easier to land this lance on a player. You freeze them immediately and a basic melee punch will kill them, or you can just stop them in their tracks, land a few primary shots, and disrupt them in their playstyle. If that wasn't convincing enough, just make sure you're paying close attention to the gameplay. That freeze is no joke, especially because you can do the heavy slam attack downwards to immediately freeze anybody in your area. I love to just follow up with a knockout punch, get my health back, and just keep moving on with my day. And on top of that, you can use it as a 3-peak ability. I cannot tell you the amount of times Diamond Lance has allowed me to clutch some important duels inside of Trials. For the Fragments, this is going to be interesting. So let's take a look at the Fragments starting from the left side. There are 2 here that are flex, are only here because of the stat bonuses. And Facet of Awakening is actually the first one, as getting multiple kills inside of Trials is not really something that you're going to be doing. Just consider this a +10 resilience stat that I want. We're going to take this off just so you understand better visually what we're going for. Next, this is a very huge fragment to be running on Prismatic Titan. Facet of Blessing, melee final blow, start health regeneration. Now remember, knockout got nerfed. Every punch kill just gives you a small bump of health now. It does not regenerate your HP. Well, knockout combined with Facet of Blessing gets you some crazy clutches inside of Trials. Not only do you get a instant HP bonus, now you start regenerating as well. So you unnerf it, but also feels like knockout just got buffed with this combination. Next up is another flexible mod, Facet of Justice. I'm running this simply for the +10 intellect. Remember, if I'm going to lose a match, it'll be because someone gets a super, not because they get Transcendence. So I was really prioritizing getting high intellect here. Around tier 8 would be okay. I'm going to take that off so you can visually understand what fragments I really prioritize on this build. Facet of Dominance. This is a big one. So yeah, our Void Grenades weaken. I don't care about Suppressor Nades, but we already went over why Pulse Grenades are the most effective grenade for me when it comes to this Trials PvP loadout. So I'm going to add Arc Jolt to these grenades so that I can get more value out of my Pulse Grenades. Being able to add some Jolt and spreading that damage across the enemy team makes it very easy to go clean them all up or get some important chip damage that I would need to make an opening. Last but not least is every Titan's favorite fragment, because we love to get close and personal and punch everything to death. Facet of Protection. When we're surrounded, we're more resistant to incoming damage. And I get +10 strength, which is awesome for Shiver Strike. But that damage resistance is important because when you're getting in there close and personal as a Titan, being an aggressor, this is going to be key to make some crazy clutch plays. To finish this section off, with those fragments removed and you wanted to fill them in with some other additional ones, which ones do I recommend? Facet of Courage. My arc abilities will do more damage to targets affected with darkness debuffs, which means every time I hit someone with a Shiver Strike and follow with a knockout, which is an arc and melee, I'm doing more damage to that player. Very effective. And then there's Facet of Hope. When I have an elemental buff, such as Amplified or Radiant, my ability will come back faster. And that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and move on. So in this section, we're going to focus on my exotic class item and the mods that I'm going to be using on this Prismatic Titan build. Let's go ahead and take a look at this exotic cloak. So we have Spirit of the Ophidian, which was one of the main exotic traits I recommended in my older video covering the god rules for these class items on each character. Go check out the video if you haven't already. Our weapons have better handling, they ready better, which means there's less importance for mods like dexterity mods, quick access sling, and handling on our weapons. More on that as we continue to look at the mods. Next is a exotic trait I was not really expecting to be so good, but think of it this way. Spirit of Contact makes me feel like I have pre-nerfed Dune Marchers on my Titan. Every time I hit someone with a powered melee charge, I'm going to jolt them, which in my opinion is better than just an arc shock, because jolt will apply a debuff on the target, and if you do further damage to that target, it will continue to jolt around them and themselves. Spirit of Contact is so incredible that most of the time that I would fly in with my Shiver Strike, I would get one-shot kills or just clean up opponents nearby with that shock, and it was absolutely disgusting. Originally, I was hunting for Alpha Loopy here, but noticing that Prismatic Titan had the ability to have thruster and I can play more aggressive, have that movement and speed that I desire so much, I decided to ditch that exotic because I don't want to play Barricade. Spirit of Contact was amazing in this kit, and just to confirm with you, this does not work with Knockout, even though it's considered an Arc Punch ability. It doesn't work. I tested it. It only works on the actual melee charge like a Shiver Strike or a Shoulder Charge, okay? While we're taking a look at this cloak and my Titan butt here, let's take a look at the mods that I'm running. So on the stat distribution here on the right side, we are going to prioritize tier 10 resilience. Now with tier 10 resilience, my thruster comes back faster than a gambler dodge at tier 10 mobility for the hunter. I'm always going to prioritize recovery so I can get my max health regeneration. You know, the faster I can regenerate, the sooner I can get back into the gunfight. The next stat I'm prioritizing is intellect, because if there's going to be any games that I lose, it's going to be based on supers. So I need to make sure if I'm going 4-3, 4-4 in a trials match that I'm going to have a super to answer back to counter other supers. That is why I'm prioritizing tier 9 intellect on this setup. With the stats on the side, let's go ahead and talk about the mods. Since I have low discipline and strength, I'm going to focus on putting mods that are going to help me get those abilities back faster. Enter Bomber and 1 Outreach. Every time I pop my class ability, I get more energy for the discipline and strength, okay? Every time I pop that thruster, I can also make an orb after getting a kill, and that health regeneration is going to be coming from the better already mod on my boots. Picking up an orb just heals me up. It's very nice, very clutch. You're going to appreciate it when it does happen. I wouldn't think too much about it. Just like on my cloak, I'm going to be having a mod for my grenade and my melee so I can get those abilities back a little bit faster. For the chest piece, these are flexible mods depending on what your elemental primary is. Since I'm going to be prioritizing a kinetic hand cannon, I will be running in flinching kinetic aim. 2 of those just to make sure my primary shot never goes off target, even if I'm getting shot back. Even though I use a shotgun, I will not be putting an unflinching mod for that. If I were sniping, I would definitely consider putting one on. If I had like an arc sniper, I would put arc unflinching just to help with that. So earlier we talked about Ophidians giving me handling bonus, making it that I don't need dexterity mods, and this is the outcome. My gauntlets don't have any dexterity mods like I normally would run. Typically, I would have kinetic dexterity and arc dexterity to have some incredible fast swaps between my hand cannon and my shotgun, but with Ophidians, I no longer need that. I can now focus on running mods to help me get abilities back faster. Enter Impact Induction. Causing damage with a power melee reduces the grenade cooldown. Momentum Transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces my melee cooldown. Same logic as the mods on my boots and my cloak. I do have fastball, so I can throw those pulse grenades further. And lastly, let's take a look at my helmet. We have a brand new mod, and I will tell you it is definitely worth running. Typically, I would like to run 2 kinetic targetings or 1 for my shotgun, like a Matador that's arc energy. But with in-flight compensator, we can apply this mod and get a 15+ AE to our weapons, which is just amazing. The reason I care about airborne effectiveness at all is because sometimes I want to use that vertical gameplay to actually outplay my opponents, and if I can't hit any shots in the air, then I cannot make those plays and not have that skill expression. Kinetic targeting has always been kind of like an auto-select mod, but if you need some reasoning as to why, faster aid down sights, you can't go wrong with bonus accuracy either. I don't really care about making Orbs of Power inside of Trials of Osiris, as getting multi-kills with a primary weapon is going to be quite difficult considering that people are playing very reserved, very team shot, and spending a lot of time hiding around walls. We all want to play our lives and go flawless, right? Before we move on, I know you want to see my artifacts, so let's go ahead and take a look at what I run specifically for PvP. I find these to be pretty effective, and I wouldn't think too much about them. Those work pretty well. And that is the mods for my Titan. Let's go ahead and move on. So we took a look at my subclass, my mods, and my exotic class item. Let's go ahead and close out this video quickly by taking a look at the weapons that I prefer using to dominate trials. We got the Godroll Rose. This is a lightweight frame, which gives me +20 handling, and it makes my Titan feel very smooth when it comes to movement. I got the slide shot so I can get the bonus range and explosive rounds to apply some additional flinch on players but also extend the range of the rose slightly at longer distances. I'm rocking a target adjuster to bypass the airborne effectiveness downsides of not having enough aim assist when I hit my shots in the air. Some alternatives to the rose would be any other 140 hand cannon that you like, such as Austringer, IS Luna, Kept Confidence, so on and so forth. The secret here is that rose is a kinetic weapon, so with this damage, I can fill up both bars of the light and the dark to get Transcendence much faster than someone else running only a solar weapon type or a darkness weapon type. Something to consider. It is very, very good. My secondary of choice is going to be the trusty Matador 64 that I've been rocking forever. You can get this from Grasp of Avarice. Threat detector to swap to the shotgun much faster. Opening shot is a requirement on shotties to get a very consistent one-shot kill. Quick access sling just to boost my ready speed and stow speed. Last but not least is going to be the Cataphract. So GLs did get a massive nerf in the past, but if you have not heard the news, I'm going to finally share the secret with you. If you get a grenade launcher with at least 70 blast radius, you can go back to getting one-shot kills inside of PvP. This is the role that I went for. It has 75. Impulse amplifier is a must so that your Cataphract or GL doesn't feel super slow and you can actually connect the shots on target. If for whatever reason I needed to be more meta and run a 120 hand cannon, I would be rocking an Igneous Hammer with a God Roll Someday. This is not the fully 5 out of 5 Someday as I am working on reviewing this gun, but you get the idea. It would be the same roll as Matador and the Igneous Hammer roll that I like to use. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.